Hey everybody, this is part 2 of this study about molecular hydrogen water and its protection in traumatic brain injury. So yesterday we talked about this statement that acute TBI can transform into a chronic condition and be a risk factor for neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, probably through induction of oxidative stress and neuroinflammation. You've heard me say before that anytime a disease process involves oxidative stress, you can bet that hydrogen is going to have an effect on that particular disease. We've also talked ad nauseum about neuroinflammation and the effects of ghrelin as a neuroprotectant. We know that hydrogen upregulates ghrelin. So in this particular study, they took 18 mice. They divided it into 3 groups of 6. We've already been through this, but I'm going to touch on it again. Group 1 got the sham procedure where they went through the surgery, but they did not get the cortical impact. Group 2 went all the way through and received the controlled cortical impact. Group 3 got the controlled cortical impact, but was given hydrogen water. And the findings that we talked about yesterday were that the edema was cut down by about half, which is huge. And then they completely blocked the pathological tau expression, which is the protein associated with Alzheimer's disease. And then accentuated an increase seen in several cytokines, but attenuated the decrease by an increase by day 7. And then lastly, we talked about the reverses change in those detrimental protein levels. So what I want to touch on today to expound into part 2 of this particular video is that it reversed the increase seen 4 hours of CCI and gene expression related to oxidation, carbohydrate metabolism, cytokine release, leukocyte or cell migration, cytokine transport, ATP, and nucleotide binding. That is a big mouthful, but what they're basically saying is that any time that your body goes under stress, you're going to activate particular genes. It's a process known as epigenetics, meaning your environment affects your genes because it activates these genes. So all of these things that I've listed out here were negative things, genes that were expressed after the actual impact. So it messed up oxidation, carbohydrate metabolism. So that's going to affect your energy levels. Cytokine release means that you're not going to get those anti-inflammatory cytokines. And then leukocyte or cell migration means they're not going to be able to find where they're tired. Cytokine transport is be able to move those cytokines where they need to be. And then, of course, ATP and nucleotide bonding basically means that there were genes that were expressed that were going to affect metabolism. But when the mice were given hydrogen water, then those genes were reversed. So that's pretty cool. It preserved and increased ATP levels and proposed a new mechanism for molecular hydrogen water, that of ATP production through the Jagendorf reaction. So basically the mice that were given the water post the TBI, their ATP levels were higher than those that weren't. So there's a proposed mechanism there through the Jagendorf reaction, which is basically a reaction that was found back in the 60s, that when you change the gradient of pH, you can increase the production of ATP. But for our purposes, though, we can just say that the mice that had the hydrogen water had better energy than the mice that did not have the hydrogen water post their brain, their TBI. Last thought, and we'll wrap up this 2-part series. These results show that molecular hydrogen given in drinking water reverses many of the sequelae of CCI and suggests that it could be an easily administered, highly effective treatment for TBI. Now, this takes me back to last spring when my stepson actually had an incident with TBI and was unable to finish his basketball season because of it. Had I known then what I know now, there would have been a machine in place in my home before that happened so that we could immediately administer it post his actual incident of hitting his head. That has been solved since then. So parents, if you've got kids in school athletics or in athletics at all, I would highly, highly recommend having these machines accessible so that when this problem does happen, you can immediately get them drinking hydrogen water and reverse some of the things that happen because of traumatic brain injury. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on the next video.